Hello and welcome to another edition of Democratic Newsroom. I'm joined here by my colleagues in our conference room to discuss the biggest burning topic of the week. And yes, it's been what's transpired in Parliament. We've seen two very interesting and rather fiery debates, whether it was on Vande Mataram or on electoral reforms, or pointedly at SIR. But of the two face-offs, who won the battle on the two issues of narratives and much more? I'll open this up. Joining us here in the Democratic Newsroom, as always, Rajdeep Sardesai, Sahil Joshi, who we've not had to teleport for a change. He's with us here in our studios. We've got Gaurav Sawant and Sneha Murdani for a change, who's joining us at the Democratic Newsroom. Rajdeep, can I begin with you? What did you make of the parliamentary face-off? What did you make of the two debates, Vande Mataram and electoral reforms?
You know, Akshita, if you looked at this as two battles within a war, I would say when it came to Vande Mataram, my belief is the government scored a self-goal. Because they looked at a debate which was really being looked through the rear view mirror, which in a way was designed, it almost seemed to demonize Jawaharlal Nehru yet again. In the process, what happened? You dragged in others like Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. And at a time when the country has so many contemporary pressing issues, from fires to air pollution to the indigo crisis, to go back to what happened in 1937, I feel was scoring a clear self-goal. So on that debate, I think the government for once got its steps completely wrong. The other debate, which was just the other way around, electoral reforms, the opposition was confused. Was this debate about electoral reforms? Was it about SIR or was it about vote Chori? And by the end, when Amit Shah gave what I thought was a hard-hitting, very direct speech, the opposition really had no response and therefore walked out. So I think it was very interesting that if this was a series of debates, two debates, it would be 1-1. I think government scored a big self-goal in my view on Vande Mataram. They just got the timing, the issues wrong, and it also gave the opposition an opportunity to tag the government. What were you doing during the freedom struggle? What was the RSS doing? All of which I think pushed the government on the back foot. On the other hand, when it came to electoral reforms, I think the opposition was confused and was not sure what exactly were you going to try and put across to make it an issue that resonated. So 1-1 is the way I put it. Okay, so one to the government, one to the opposition.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this issue by issue, right? We'll give 10 minutes on Vande Mataram, like in Parliament, and 10 minutes to electoral reforms. Gaurav, first on Vande Mataram, what did you think of the debate? Do you think government scored a self-goal like Rajdeep does?
So it depends whether you're looking at it as a T20 match or you're looking at it as a test series. And if you were to look at it from the government's perspective or the ideological perspective, because the government does not look at it as the headlines of the day. For them, it's more ideological. They want people of Bengal and they want this generation to know how in 1937, under pressure of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, there were people who buckled under pressure, and instead of the entire Vande Mataram, you agreed only to 2 stanzas of Vande Mataram, which led to then truncating Vande Mataram. Ultimately, Jinnah was emboldened कि इनको दबा सकते हो दबाओ. Ultimately, it led to partition of the country in 1947, and the Muslims who stayed behind, many of them don't even sing those 2 stanzas of Vande Mataram, as the Home Minister gave out an entire list, listing out Congress party leaders, Samajwadi party leaders, RJD leaders till date who refused to sing the Vande Mataram. So, you know, whatever they sought to achieve in 1937, in 2025, you realize politics of appeasement never works. When you look at it at that level, that generation may not have realized this. The effort was that this generation should realize it.
Okay. Sahil, what do you think?
See, in Vande Mataram debate, it looked like that the government was ready with the charge sheet, you know. And in the debate on the electoral reforms, it was the opposition party was ready with the charge sheet against the government. So exactly played, you know, completely reversal roles for the opposition and the government. As far as Vande Mataram is concerned, you know, most of the people thought that there were no new ideas to speak about. Every speech was almost similar from the government side because there were no new points to it. The Vande Mataram debate has been going on in this country for a very long time. And most of the issues which were discussed by the government, put by the government, even by the Prime Minister in Rajya Sabha, by Amit Shah, were already known and they were debated, they were already discussed. But it gave the opposition party, specifically, I would like to mention Priyanka Gandhi, an opportunity to come up with a completely new thing altogether. You know, her remarks about, once for all decide a day and prepare some 999 charges against Pandit Nehru and let's discuss it forever. So that kind of thing came out from the opposition party. So it looked like that what government was hoping for, it couldn't materialize in the Vande Mataram
Gaurav,
debate.
what do you think of
Just
Priyanka
one
Gandhi's
line,
speech?
just one line before you pass it on. What Gaurav said about that, whether it's a test match or a T20, the T20 they definitely lost. I think you will agree to that.
Well, I look at it as a much wider thing.
yeah,
I
but-
mean, in my own country, if I can't sing Vande Mataram and somebody has a veto on singing Vande Mataram, it's bizarre.
no, of course.
Who has a veto?
It's
No,
bizarre.
no, please, he
You
has
know,
to now.
this
You
is-
see, who has a veto? No, 1 minute, sir. No, you have used a word. You are
Yes,
saying there is a
it's a
veto on Vande Mataram.
There's a veto
Who?
on Vande
From whom?
Mataram.
From whom?
That
For
only
the
two,
longest
only
time,
two
the
paras
Sangh
will be
Parivar-
sung.
the
Only
Sangh
two
Parivar
paras
never
will be
sang
sung.
Vande Mataram all these
So
years.
whether
Suddenly
Sangh-
you have discovered
whether
Vande Mataram.
Sangh can
Who
sing
has a
it or
veto?
not, whether
No, who
Sangh
has a
sings or
veto?
not is immaterial.
Who has a veto?
I don't care if
Who
Sangh
has a
sings
veto?
or not.
You have made a
So
comment.
I have made
Please-
a comment
please respond
that
to
only
that.
two paras will be sung and not more will be sung. And what
Gurudev
about leaders?
Rabindranath Tagore, no less.
Gurudev Rabindranath
Said
Tagore
very
in his
clearly.
wisdom in 1937.
So in
Situation-
2025, you are going
situation
to
in-
decide why did the great Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, the Nobel
The
laureate,
situation-
why did
the situation in
1937 India
1937
cannot be compared to 2025?
situation
I
with
would
them
have
is
liked
different.
a 10-hour debate
The
on
situation
airline
in-
turbulence, on what's happening with the way
Have
illegalities
another
go on in
10-hour
Goa.
debate.
On,
Have a 20-year debate.
No, that
Have-
doesn't
have
happen.
that
That
debate.
did happen.
What was the
Okay,
deal?
That did happen.
I would have
What
wanted
was
a
the deal?
10-hour debate on pollution
Very
because
good,
the
very
day
good.
when Vande
Have
Mataram
a
debate took
20-year
place,
debate on it.
So do
the
you feel it was
AQI
unnecessary?
No,
A
it was
Vande Mataram
absolutely
debate?
unnecessary
Yeah.
because 10 hours were set aside and nothing new was said in this entire discussion. Why weren't we discussing pollution is my question. It's not just Delhi. It's not something that is to be discussed in the Delhi Assembly. It is something that is to be discussed in the country because in India, unlike many other countries, the effort has to be from at all levels. It's going to be a multi-agency, a central government, a state government level effort. On the day Vande Mataram was getting discussed, the AQI of Delhi was 650 plus. And not just that, let me tell you, it's not just Delhi. There were other cities as well who were reporting very bad air quality, particularly in the Indo-Gangetic Plain, which is North India. My question is, and that struck to me as a journalist and as a citizen, why isn't pollution being given 1 hour?
And
1 hour?
that is the pitch.
Why not?
That is the pitch.
That's
That is the pitch put forward
Put-
by the opposition parties.
No, sir.
That why are we discussing the issues which are some 150
Because
years
this is
how
what
old?
I
does it
call a
matter?
WMD, weapon of mass distraction. This was a classic weapon of mass distraction at a time when the country has got urgent issues to discuss with. You're going back to the 1930s and scoring self-goals because your own track record. Who was Shama Prasad Mukherjee aligning with in 1930s? And if you want a history lesson, then both sides will put their points across. But I don't think this was a moment for a history lesson in Parliament when there are far more urgent issues concerning India of today. I want a Viksit Bharat
what
in
makes-
2047. I don't want to know what
But
happened.
Gaurav
What
hasn't
makes a
answered the
Vande
question.
Mataram
T20 and
No,
test
I want
match.
to know whose veto. He has made a very serious point. There's a
I
veto
have-
on
Okay, so
Vande
two
Mataram.
questions.
I have.
Two questions.
And
Let him
you
answer
know-
now.
No,
Let
he
him
must
answer.
answer it.
He'll answer. Let him
Amit
answer.
Shah has answered it.
Who?
Amit Shah answered it. He gave out a list of people who refused to sing Vande Mataram, and because of which it is only two paras are also sung. All those details are
No,
out
the
in
two
public
paras and
domain.
saying Vande Mataram are two different issues.
So,
it's
you know,
completely different issues.
Several
altogether.
times in the past
these
we've
two are
had
different
ruling
issues.
all of
party
you,
MPs
all
or-
of you want to speak and not let me speak. It's
Let
fine.
him-
Sorry,
When
let him
somebody
finish.
else
No,
Let
he's
him
not
finish, let
answered
him
my
finish.
question. Who's giving a veto?
Okay,
know-
he'll answer it. Go ahead. Go
Are
ahead.
you stopped from singing Vande
So
Mataram?
let him finish. Let
like
him
the
finish.
Home Minister told Rahul Gandhi, you will not decide what I will speak and when I will speak.
Oh, arey wah. Well done.
Okay, Gaurav, now go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
will decide.
No, but you're not
I
asking
will
me
Okay,
to
decide.
say.
as Speaker
I will-
Birla,
Come
I
on.
will now say Gaurav gets the floor. Go ahead.
No, Om Prakash, if you go by Mr. Birla, then you'll be biased against us. But
No,
go ahead.
no, Rajdeep, come on.
Okay, go ahead.
So you're suggesting you're one side then?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's a fact.
Gaurav-
But be that as it may, the fact of the matter remains a tree to become tall and strong has to have strong roots. And you have to know what the civilization here is all about. Okay, if you can't even say Vande Mataram in this country,
That's
if
wrong.
you can't even...
That's
Who
wrong.
says
Hold
you
on.
can't?
Okay.
No, it's
I'm
Let him
building...
finish.
No, no, it's
Please
wrong.
let him finish.
I'm
Please let him
building-
finish.
No, but at least we should not have the facts
you
wrong.
So
can't
Vande
mislead the
Mataram,
viewers.
We have been
Vande Mataram
singing
is not
Vande
just
Mataram
two
in our
words.
school.
It's a...
He has been
We have been
Beyond
singing
two
Vande Mataram in our
paragraphs
school.
coming
Okay,
to
okay.
beyond
Marathi
two
medium
paragraphs.
school
Clarify
used
on
to
that.
have Vande
Beyond
Mataram.
Clarify
two
on that quickly,
paragraphs,
Gaurav. Clarify
beyond
quickly
two
on that.
stanzas,
That is Rashtragan.
beyond
Okay,
two
okay, let him
stanzas.
clarify. Let him clarify now. Clarify on what
beyond 2 stanzas? How many of you know that Vande Mataram beyond those 2 stanzas?
How many of
Beyond-
us in parliament know the full
So
song?
that is
I'm
not my
challenging
point.
half of
That
them.
is, and I'm not blaming you for this. I'm not blaming anybody for not knowing beyond those 2 stanzas because we were only taught those 2 stanzas. The effort, I believe, is so that future generations know that policy of appeasement never works. You should not have a policy of
that
Why
the
not
most
make a public
pressing
speech
issue
about
of
it?
this
Why not
Sneha,
make a
Sneha.
public speech about it?
Is that the
Sneha,
most
Why-
pressing
why
issue
the
of
parliament
the day?
has to
Okay,
be
Gaurav, the other aspect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
just
Sneha.
asking you, is that the most pressing issue of the day for
So
the
you have-
parliament to dedicate 10 hours to
just 10
discuss
hours.
it?
Just
the
10
parliament,
hours?
Parliament does not function only one day. All the walkouts, all that everything else is happening. Instead of walking out, come sit, wait, discuss all the other issues also. You know, oh, this is exactly like the same argument. Why do you want a Ram Mandir at Ayodhya? You can have a hospital there. You can have a school there. You can have this there.
This was a
It is
short
not an
parliament
either or.
session.
It is not
No.
an either or.
Gaurav, this was a
now that
short
you have
parliament
a Divya
session.
Bhavya Ram Mandir in Ayodhya and land has been given elsewhere for construction of other structures. बॉस तुमको जितने स्कूल बनाने हैं बनाओ, तुमको जितने वहां अस्पताल बनाने हैं बनाओ,
नहीं,
तुमको
analogy
जो
गलत
बनाना
है ना,
है,
क्योंकि
तुमको
these
जो
are
बनाना है
sessions
बनाओ.
of relevance.
Similarly-
Go ahead. Now,
similarly-
Rajdeep, Gaurav,
similarly-
hold on. No,
He
now
has
let
used the
Rajdeep
word
come in.
appeasement.
You have
has
other
used-
hours, you discuss every
Okay,
other issue
okay,
under
now
the
let
sun.
Rajdeep come in,
Sir,
please.
you have used the word appeasement in the context of Vande Mataram. My point is, in the 1930s, you can turn Hindu Mahasabha was aligning with Muslim League to form governments. Is that appeasement? L.K. Advani goes to Pakistan and makes a statement in praise of Jinnah.
And
Is
that
that
cooked his
appeasement?
wounds.
Jaswant
That
Singh.
cooked his
No.
wounds.
Fact is, देखो
He-
ऐसा
he
है.
made
How
that up-
far back in time do you? I maintain. I want to see a better India for my children.
Absolutely.
That better India is not going to be built by having a 10-hour debate why Vande Mataram has 2 stanzas and not more.
That
According to
better
me-
India will
according
also
to
not
me,
be built
that is
when
a clear
I cannot
red
even
herring,
follow my
a
own
weapon of mass
systems.
distraction, because it also exposed, and that's why I think the self-goal was scored, it also exposed where was the RSS during 1930s, where was it during Quit India movement. You see, history is a very contentious issue. I don't think that is the issue of our times. The issue of our times is to look at the present and the future by looking at...
Unless you have a
this is
strong
Exactly.
past, unless there is reconciliation from the past, you cannot have a strong
What is the
future.
reconciliation
Okay?
by having a
And
debate on Vande Mataram?
Vande Mataram
we all respect our national song.
Okay, what is the outcome of the debate? What is
is
the
the
outcome of the debate?
So at
Is
least
it
What
to
is the
force
outcome?
everybody to
Has-
sing
Okay,
Vande
come on,
have the
everyone,
government-
everyone is asking questions of
No, no,
Gaurav
no,
right
no.
now.
Have-
Just hold on.
Have the
Hold
government
on.
have the government come to the conclusion and the parliament come to the conclusion now that the whole song needs to be taught in the school? Have they come to the conclusion of that?
Well-
what is the outcome of the
Okay,
of
you
the whole
asked the
debate?
question. Let him answer now. Yeah.
Are you now preempting a debate has happened? Debate has happened. Now let's see what the next action is. You know, again, like I say, there are
Okay.
some people who move by 24-hour news
Was it a
cycles.
discussion or a debate?
A 24-hour news cycle, and there are some who move on a much wider scale, and this is what is something that we
No,
need
I'll
to
tell you the
appreciate
difference.
better.
He's moving in millennium, civilizational.
No, 1 minute,
Yes.
1 minute.
Yes,
worry about
and
the
why
air we
not?
breathe. Worry about
and
today's
why
air we
not?
breathe.
We are the only
minute.
civilization that continues to flourish.
1
the
minute.
world's oldest
One-
flourishing
I- I-
civilization.
I just have one thing to say. In SIR, in the debate on the electoral reforms, the opposition came up with specific demands. Okay, this is what we want to change in the electoral system. Right?
Excellent.
What happened in the Vande Mataram debate? What did the government decide?
What
and
was the
came up with the
opposition
idea
want
that
to
this is what is
achieve?
to be happen.
Let him answer now. What was the biggest takeaway from the Vande Mataram debate, Gaurav?
That this generation also knows what India has been
That they
through.
have been talking about it since long time.
Very good. Future generations will also get to know.
Okay.
Why this apprehension कि भविष्य में ना पता चल जाए कि भूतकाल में क्या हुआ
किसने कहा है?
You know,
तुम
तो
पढ़ते नहीं होता इसका मतलब नहीं है बाकी तो पढ़ते नहीं है
अच्छा मतलब सब
People-
आई
नहीं,
कंप्लीटली
ये गलत
अग्री
है।
सबसे ज्यादा पढ़े लिखे तो राजदीप
नहीं,
ही
मैंने ये
है
नहीं
राजदीप
कहा।
के अलावा
नहीं,
बाकी
ये
सब
कहना कि
अनपढ़ है
नहीं, नहीं,
नहीं
नहीं,
बाकी
ये
तो सभी
कहना कि
अनपढ़
nobody
है
knows,
अरे,
वो
अरे,
पढ़ते
What
नहीं
is
हो
this? Nobody
it is
knows.
just future generations will
चलो,
also get
चलो,
to know
okay.
and as far as you are saying where was RSS where was so and so अरे it is for them to decide where they were if you
Why
look
do
at
we need this
Okay, I will
debate in
resort
this
to
and if
more
you- if you
tactics.
look at
Sorry.
I
electoral
will
results, if you look at electoral results,
Okay.
they seem to be doing much
Of course
better.
they are.
You
Of
know,
course.
so
Now
that
you're
also
confusing
answers.
issues.
Now
No,
I'm
I
going
am
to
not.
I'm going to resort to speaker tactics
Please,
and start
sorry.
muting now.
Sorry.
Mananiya Sadasyagan, we will start next with the electoral reforms. You've already, Rajdeep, what did you make of that debate? You had Rahul Gandhi speak, you had Amit Shah speak.
You know, I think I'm very clear. The opposition there got it horribly wrong. They actually wanted to raise the issue of SIR. It started, then they wanted, a section wanted to raise the issue of vote chori. But government cleverly framed the debate, or the opposition agreed to an electoral reforms debate. Once you agree to electoral reforms debate, then you open the window for, in a way, the way the opposition approached it was by sending mixed signals. They were not clear what they wanted to say on these issues. Once Amit Shah took the floor, and I believe, forget about a slightly unparliamentary word that he used in between, it almost made me feel, yeah, that's also okay to say a few words in parliament. Barring that, I thought it was a speech that hit the opposition where it hurt, because it then went into specific issues. And I think the government scored, and the opposition was completely confused. Just as the opposition was able to expose the government's agenda on Vande Mataram, I believe the government was able to expose the opposition on its failure to come out with clarity on electoral reform. I had a debate yesterday on electoral reform with former chief election commissioners and some people who worked on it. And they raised key issues. Money power. How are you going to reduce the use of money power in election? Why not look at proportional representation? Real solid ideas. None of which I saw in that debate in parliament. In parliament debate, it was almost, when we don't win, there is something wrong with the system. When we win, all is okay. And
So
I think
you're not convinced by the vote chori that Rahul Gandhi kept speaking of?
No, I have not been convinced unless I get much stronger hard evidence to suggest that this is being done on scale. Obviously, there are irregularities at some level in our electoral rolls that need to be cleaned up. I do believe that the SIR exercise is taking place with undue haste. There should be an exercise, but you cannot have it at the cost of BLOs being so stressed out. These are legitimate issues, but the opposition failed to provide a cohesive argument and thereby gave Amit Shah the chance to grandstand and make a strong political statement. So from that point of view, I do believe we need a much more focused debate on how do we make our politics cleaner and ensure a level playing field. I didn't see that in the debate from the opposition. Their charge sheet didn't quite work for me on electoral
But
reform.
at least to begin with, the opposition was successful in forcing a debate on electoral reforms, if not specifically and pointedly on SIR. I think that's where they kind of were able to build a narrative.
What's the point if you don't ask the right questions?
What's the point? Plus, you don't ask the right questions. There was no consistency between the opposition parties in terms of their arguments. There was no specific pointed demand like there was in the case of 2G, for example, wherein the opposition at that point in time in BJP, it forced the government and parliament to set up a joint parliamentary committee. So no outcome, plus the walkout defeats the purpose. If you walk out, then you give the narrative that you have nothing to say, and then give this to the government on the platter. Just like the way the government gave this, the Congress in fact was able to give the Vande Mataram issue on the platter, ask questions of the government on Vande Mataram. The opposite happened in the case
Flipped,
of...
essentially. Yeah, Gaurav.
Okay, so I think Amit Shah didn't say anything new. He said everything in the run-up to Bihar
We didn't
elections.
need this debate.
No, of course we needed the debate. As far as we journalists are concerned, it's a great time for all of us, to listen to every side of that big story. But yes, when was the last electoral SIR process carried out in this country? Before 2025. So why is it that SIR was not needed and why is there undue haste? When was it done last time, Rajdeep?
20-year argument didn't
So-
cut
Yeah,
it.
but
So,
then,
you know,
last
no,
time it was done over an extended period.
So,
My problem
if
with
it
SIR,
hasn't happened,
just to
you know,
clarify, my
in
problem
the
with
past-
SIR is not the exercise, it's the haste and the deadline.
And the
EC
timing.
and now the
So-
EC is caught in a bind
so-
because every week they seem to be extending the deadline.
They've extended it
Even
now
today-
by a
even
week.
Yes,
today it
even
is
today they've
exercise.
extended it.
Mismanaged
Even
the
today it is
exercise.
Okay, now let
per se was
Gaurav
fine.
finish.
But
sounded like...
I love this interruption because this is what shows how,
Democratic.
How
no,
democratic
even
you
if
are.
it's,
go ahead.
three against one, it's perfectly fine.
No,
I love
he has
it. I
praised-
love it.
He has
I love
praised
it.
the government.
I love it.
You don't
No,
have to
I love this.
create a fight now.
No, I love
You-
this.
you-
No,
you don't have to create a
facts.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So, SIR process in the past, as Amit Shah pointed out, 1951, 52, 57, 1960s, it is regularly happening. If it's happening after 20 years, now electoral rolls have to be reformed, right? That's exactly, the purification of electoral rolls is happening. There was so much brouhaha about it. Why? It was uncalled for. So opposition just looks at something, hopes it will grab something and something will stick. Where is that coherent strategy for them to take it to its logical conclusion? And in the middle of the battle, when the commander abandons the battle and goes, in the middle of the battle, what does it say about, the future of that battle?
Well, okay.
No, go on, sir.
Okay. So, I thought very interestingly, the way it happened during Vande Mataram debate, that the opposition got a chance to talk their points out. Similarly, in this debate, the government got a chance to raise this Ghuspetia issue again. You know,
And it's a very serious issue, Ghuspetia. I mean, you can't have foreigners who will decide who your chief minister, prime minister
Could you
is.
please tell us, could the election commission
Let
please
me
tell
complete.
us how many Ghuspetias have been found in SIR in Bihar so far? They don't even tell us. It's very easy to say Ghuspetia code. I want numbers. I would have rather had a debate actually which the election commissioner Gyanesh Kumar was involved in. He's the one who has to answer the
But that's
the
exactly
government
the
said
point
that
the government
also.
constantly made.
Okay.
Ganesh Kumar cannot
Okay.
come in parliament. He's not.
I
member of
agree.
parliament.
That's why
I
he
agree.
said- Amit Shah said that also,
I
that
agree.
this is not a parliament debate.
I
But
agree.
yeah, go
I
ahead.
agree to Gaurav Sawant's point, and of course the government is right, or the election commission is right, that the foreigners cannot vote in India. That's absolutely correct. But also we have to see that how many Ghuspetias the government has been able to catch in last 11 years till now. Even in the election process, even in the SIR, even in the normal drives the election commission does every year, twice a year actually. That has not happened yet. But anyway, the government got a political stand in this the whole debate, and the way Amit Shah answered point by point, the point by point rebuttal of the opposition charges. Every point has been answered back by Amit Shah in this. Very interestingly, the charges put forward by the opposition parties and the demand made by the opposition parties gave a chance to the government to show that they are sore losers. That statistics was really interesting. That Amit Shah said that in last 10 years, these many elections you won, these many elections we won. So the elections you won happened with the same election process, and the election we won also happened in the same election process. So when you win, you say all is fine. When
Correct.
you don't win, then you suddenly start.
No, but
making
what
these
went
noises.
wrong, Rajdeep,
That
to
is-
you? What went wrong in the opposition strategy that, look, they wanted this debate and yet they were horribly underprepared for it?
Because
The Congress wanted this debate.
there is a lack of clarity as to exactly what was the message you were trying to send out. A few years ago, you were saying there was something wrong with EVMs. Then you moved from EVMs to electoral rolls. Now you moved to SIR. You're constantly changing the goalposts.
No, but Rahul Gandhi is clear. He said press conference after press conference.
No,
vote
but
Chori,
Rahul,
vote
you
Chori,
see,
vote Chori.
I thought one very strong point Amit Shah made yesterday. All very well to hold press conference. If you feel so strongly, have you gone in the last 10 years even once to the election commission or to the courts on specifically on
objected,
electoral reforms? Now, I think that's why I said the real battle to be fought is at the election commission. I do have a problem with the opacity and the lack of transparency of this election commission, of its failure to take all stakeholders into account before you conduct a major exercise like SIR. That aside, I think when you are going, if there was a clear plan that these are the 10 things I want as electoral reforms, Rahul Gandhi cited 2 or 3. CCTV, the immunity that's been granted to election commissioners, the way in which election commissioners are chosen, all of which the government can easily turn back on you, because it's not as if
No,
when
Amit Shah responded to those.
you see,
also.
because
he responded.
because
He
it's
did.
very
He did.
simple.
Yeah, to each
Today,
of those.
today you are telling me that a 3-member commission is heavily weighted in favor of the government when it comes to choosing election commissioners. What was it when you were in power? You see, immediately whataboutery comes in. So the Congress has to deal with those questions, and I don't think they were prepared, or in a way they gave the government an opportunity to say, you are no one to tell us of how the election commissioners should be appointed. We can turn it back
No,
on
the
you. Just like on
people of
Vande
this
Mataram,
country have
every time
voted.
Vande Mataram was said, the opposition had an opportunity. You please don't tell us about Vande Mataram. Where were you during the 1930s?
very interestingly-
That's how it
very
happened.
interestingly-
So I think a serious debate on electoral reforms is needed in this country.
It sounded-
but a serious, focused debate outside of this bipartisan politics of
This
this
umbrella
country.
Outside of
discussion on vote chori, this constant use of vote chori targeting the government, it should have been more
Focused.
pointed, more focused.
Focused.
On what are the
Vote chori is
redressal
a
measures, for
inference.
example,
I don't think that
for
they came up with
genuine
any-
voters
You guys-
who are aggrieved.
You should be. You should.
What is the
and
difference?
They
why
should be
would
advisors.
and I don't even,
If I may-
and for once
if
I
I-
agree, I don't even like this word vote chori at times, because if I'm a genuine voter who's standing in a line from 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. waiting to vote in some part of the country,
You're
then you
mocking
come
them.
and say vote chori. अरे यार मैं तो वोट कर रहा हूँ.
No, but
I think the opposition
I-
needed to frame
What-
the debate
Yes,
better.
I-
no,
there are great advisors here for the opposition and their
just to-
strategy.
No, I'm advisors for the government also. I'm saying
No, you didn't advise the government, Rajdeep.
No,
You
I
said
said
you
the
rated
government.
them, yes,
I
but
said
you were
the
advising
government
the
should-
opposition.
I said the government should have also stayed away from Vande Mataram and done what was just
no,
suggested.
but I think
focused
government-
on what
I
we
think
have
government
to say,
was
an article
absolutely
on
right.
Can I say
revolution.
2 lines? Can I say
Yeah.
2 lines?
Yes,
Can I
please.
say 2 lines?
Yes, please.
I think the whole debate was planned because the leadership of all the opposition parties could tell their workers that why we are losing. They wanted to put blame
Mainly
on
the
something.
Congress. This was
mainly
mainly
the
the
Congress.
Congress. Mainly the
Because
Congress.
because there is a lot of ask from the workers of the party that why are we losing? You know, where it is everything going
The
wrong.
Home Minister also listed why they were losing.
But
He gave
no, no,
That's a
specific
different debate.
instances.
That's a different debate. But they couldn't prove that they are losing only and only because of this. You know, the vote chori is an inference from there are mistakes in the voters list. India has 90 crore voters. You know that list cannot be perfect. That's very clear, and it's a responsibility of the election commission to have a correct voter list. That is also very
Sure.
clear.
It's a
But at the same time, that is
participatory
not the
practice.
reason why they are losing. That is the point.
If
And
I
that
may,
the government couldn't
Rahul
convey.
Gandhi had this huge, yatra in Bihar. Even
Voter Adhikar
RJD,
yatra,
RJD walked away from it. It wasn't an RJD issue
Okay.
at all. Point one, point two. In all of this, you know who won both rounds? India as a democracy. Free, fair for the whole world to see.
Gaurav, come on.
Everyone loved
Don't
it.
make it philosophical.
It's everyone
No,
saw
no.
it.
Last
all
1
this-
minute.
These VDM chaps who say India is like a elected autocracy, it's a slap on their face.
Rajdeep, last 1 minute. So go ahead. I'm going to get ratings from everyone on what they thought of the whole debate on both.
Look, I am a great believer in India's parliamentary democracy, and I always appreciate any kind of debate that takes place on the floor of the House. But let's not run ahead of ourselves and suggest that just because these two debates were held, that means parliamentary democracy is back to being its robust self. I think
I think
the
it
glass
never
is
went
half.
anywhere.
I think the glass is half full and the glass is half empty. As is often the case with much in India, we need to strengthen our institutions in democracy. I don't see enough call attention motions. For example, when I used to cover parliament, regularly call attention motions on serious immediate issues of concern like air
for
pollution
example,
would take
pollution.
place.
Okay.
Now those issues don't take place. So let's not suddenly give parliament 10 out of 10 because two debates, one which I thought was completely irrelevant and the other because the opposition got its framing of the debate wrong.
I'm wrapping this up, yeah.
Is because parliament is now, Gaurav likes to say this, that, parliament is...
I didn't say parliament, I said the country, democracy,
Okay,
Indian
all
democracy.
right, I'm wrapping this
our
up.
media is strong, our judiciary is strong, our institutions are
Okay,
very
I will
strong.
wrap this up. Okay, I'm wrapping
We are
this up.
also
As you can
strong.
see, my job is tougher than that of Om Birla. But thank you all very much for joining us.
Do
another
an
edition.
Om Birla impersonation.
No, my
for us.
Hindi is too bad. I will get into serious trouble, Rajdeep. No.
देखिए
माननीय सदस्य
बैठिए
गण।
माननीय सदस्य
ऐसे तरीका नहीं चलेगा।
No, not to do and only looking
Are
at
you
the opposition.
are you asking for a privilege?
No, I'm actually...
Are you asking for
I'm
a
wrapping
privilege?
this up. Wrapping this up. This is getting too controversial.
I was not in
This is getting too controversial. But thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Democratic Newsroom. Thank you.